All right, here we are once
We've got
again.
we've got some funny looking emote in the chat. I don't know what that's. I mean, it looks like it's supposed to be that scream face
Oh,
art
yeah.
thing, but like it looks like there's supposed to be something more to it than that.
Well, the one below it kind of looks like a looks like the flan from enemy from Final
Final
Fantasy.
Fantasy.
We've got an echo.
And
I
we've
think
got
it's
a floppy disk. I hear something like a ringing thing coming. I don't know. Maybe it's like a fan or something.
um I don't
I
know
don't
how
know. I
they're.
mean, it might just be over Skype. I hear like a brrrr.
Oh, that's probably because of my. Oh, you hear that? You hear the fan because I'm on a different. I'm sending you audio from a different webcam. It's probably my
Ah,
my computer. You probably hear.
okay, yeah. Oh, okay,
Okay, there's no echo.
okay, good.
There's just two tabs open.
Mm, that'll happen. That's happened.
Yeah. Before we get into anything, I want to say thanks for being like so patient with this situation, the status of the GameCube RGB episode. We were just talking about it.
Yeah, we want it done. We all want it done. We want it done more than anyone, but it'll
We're just waiting on that one component. Like then
right.
it's pretty much
It's
going to be out like the next day
Yeah,
after
I mean, we
getting that.
we we don't know. We can't. I know we've kept promising. We think it'll be this week, but we honestly just don't know. So like we say, it'll be worth the wait. Believe us, it'll be out the second it can possibly be out. But we felt like we've been letting people down. But
Yeah.
it'll be out. It'll be
Yeah.
out. It's coming. It's coming as soon as it can, and we're just fingers crossed again for this week. It's so basically done. It's just we just can't release it now because it'll be out of date if we don't wait just another week, hopefully less.
Yeah. Speaking of our fix your CRT episode, um, like we're kind of like planning like our upcoming RGB episodes. And we kind of been messing with the schedule a bit to kind of see what's going to happen. I think that after this, like we have quite a few like 300 level things that people have been asking for. Hopefully, um, in the next several RGB episodes in a row. Like we're planning on hopefully SCART switchers, geometry, and frame master alternatives. As long as everything works out with that. You hear that noise because it's just my heater coming on.
Oh, okay.
Uh, and then I think that there's going to be maybe a Game Boy in there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean that's a high priority for me. We're also going to briefly address the whole N64 anti-aliasing thing.
Yes, that'll be the next RGB episode.
Probably the
It's
next
kind of a
thing. I mean,
mini-sode, kind of.
yeah, I mean it's probably going to be like 6 minutes, is my rough guess. I mean, I already wrote most of the script. Um, in my opinion, I don't think it's anything to get that excited about, but it's kind of a personal preference thing. It is not. I'll just say this much: it is not the same thing as the Ultra HDMI. They do completely different things. Um, so I'll just leave it at that for now. But it's going to be like a real quick, easy episode. I can probably get it done in just a couple of days once I lock down the script. I want to have a few people look over it first.
Yeah, I mean it's something that you wanted to do for a while, and you just kind of like wrote the script on a whim, kind of. But you've been talking to some people about it.
Yeah, yeah. So some people are saying that in my audio is in sync, but your audio looks out of sync. That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, I have no idea how that's happening. Um, I don't know. It might just be due to the different webcam that I'm using, and I don't know. I have I have no idea. I don't know why it's all going through a mixer. It should be all feeding the same audio.
So I spent a pretty significant chunk of today playing a game to record footage for what will be the first episode we release in April.
Right.
And you've spent some time lately recording it.
Yes, actually, I'm going to be playing a game tonight that is going to be featured in an episode from the very beginning of April. We're doing another Hidden Gems episode, and since Try is going to be the one streaming his Hidden Gems for that episode, I'm going to... The whole, like, kind of bullet hell kick that I'm on right now is because I really got into this Hidden Gem for the Xbox 360 that I'll be playing towards the end of the stream tonight.
So is it a cave game?
Yes.
So apparently, I assume you're referring to you. Tech Assistant says no audio at all now. Just hear a hum. Are you going through on the correct mic?
Am I going through on the correct mic? Yeah. I mean, it's showing. Hang on. Let me just make sure.
Okay, everyone else is saying you're okay, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm showing my... I'm using line in for...
well.
It should be right. I mean, it's showing... I don't know why there would be a delay. I mean, that's got to be... I mean, I'm not dropping any frames or anything. When I'm speaking, my audio looks like it's correct.
Well, you know.
I don't know. I mean, try refreshing the page. There's nothing. I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense though, because if I'm in sync.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But yes, I like the. So we're doing another Hidden Gems. We didn't expect like the first Hidden Gems to do nearly as well as it did. So we just thought, like we'd kind of do another one.
And we'll probably do them with some degree of regularity every several months, maybe, if it strikes us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as long as we have games to do for it.
Yeah, I feel like you've got a deeper well to draw from than I do. Like I feel like one of my earliest videos was on Kiwi Craze, and I feel like that's like my big hidden gem. Otherwise, I mostly just play games that people know about.
Yeah, well, I mean...
And in fact, the two games that I've picked for my hidden gems are games that I didn't even know existed until like a month ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, those sound interesting. I want to play them. So...
How about Game Boy Hidden Gems? See, we try not to do, we always try to kind of pick our own, little theme for it.
Right. So Coury has a theme. I have a theme. I mean, that sounds like something I would enjoy doing for one of my picks as a Game Boy Hidden Gems. I don't... in the past year or so, I've kind of been looking a little more at Game Boy games than I had before. I can probably think of at least one that I have that would qualify as fairly hidden. But I'll keep an eye out for some.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have some random things that I've set aside for it, but I need like a like a theme to use them. I guess my theme this time is is just random Xbox 360 games. That was not my initial theme that I was going to do. But there was there's
shooters, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then there was a compilation on the 360 that I didn't even know existed until recently, that I thought that's a really good kind of thing, because if there's people out there like us that like to get physical versions of games, then this is definitely a must-have, and I didn't even know it existed until recently.
I'm not going to reveal what my Hidden Gems theme is because there's only like 3 or 4 games that they could possibly be if I gave the category.
Yeah, that's true. Ixnay, the Hidden Gem Target Earth for the Genesis, that is a great game, but I am actually going to do a series video on all of the Assault Suit games. And if you don't know, Assault Suit Lenos was remade on the PS4 in Japan.
And you already imported that and you at least tried it out. Did you play through it yet?
I played about halfway through it in about one sitting.
What does it have? Do you have to start over if you die, or?
No, it's much more forgiving than the
Okay.
original, but it does have a original mode that is just as tough as the Genesis game.
So I mean, you seem pretty impressed from what I remember.
Yes, I think it's very, very good. It's kind of weird. It's there's like some sprites in it. They're not really sprites. They're just kind of like whatever. Like there's certain aspects of the graphics that are like really weirdly low resolution.
Huh.
It was remade by the people that did a PC game called Gunhound EX, which is on Steam, which runs at a really low resolution as well.
Now it's Target Earth is the one
Yes, that's
that's
the
on
first one.
Genesis here,
Right. That's
and that's
Assault
the
Suit.
very first
Yeah.
Assault Suit Lenos,
Right.
and that's Target Earth in the U.S. and that's the very first game in the whole series.
Yes.
Okay. Now I kind of regret not getting it at MagFest. It was there.
It's a great game.
I think it sold pretty quickly though. It wasn't that expensive. I don't think. Right?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't think it was very expensive. I saw a complete copy on eBay like a couple weeks ago though for it was like $80. I think that was like an incorrect.
I think this might be an interesting question. What are our opinions on the supposed if they're making a PS 4.5 or if they're making a more powerful Xbox One? Does that mean that like consoles as we know it is it over?
I don't know. I wonder if they're gonna make it easy to upgrade.
I mean, essentially, if they go down that route, then they've essentially turned it into the iPad model, where
Yes.
the games will continue to be playable, but that at some point the oldest model gets dropped off.
Right. And at what point do they make it so old games can no longer be played though?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's definitely some appeal there. I like the idea in part because of what I imagine the NX being, which is what I hope and what I think a lot of people are hoping is that it's just the same operating system running on a handheld system and a console system. And in theory, you could play the same games on both systems, but the handheld system would run like the lower resolution, maybe have a few things turned off in terms of effects. Essentially like a PC game, would scale low res or high res, except it's just automatic. You get these settings on the handheld version, you get these settings on the console version, but they're the same games. That's what I hope. And in a sense, that's almost already what they're talking about for the Xbox or the PlayStation. They would be essentially releasing at the same time, but you would have, a lower version and a higher version running the same games.
Right.
I feel like there's some appeal to that, and that is what I want NX to be. And if it would make sense then that NX could release future iterations. I mean, it would probably be good for the companies if they have designed hardware that is so easily upgradable, because with Xbox One and the PS4, we've got consoles that are closer to PC architecture than we've ever had before anyway.
Right.
So I think we know that the core basics of the Xbox One and the PS4, I'm no engineer, but as far as I understand, they are a very strong, solid basis. They could easily evolve into higher grades, just like the GameCube evolved into the Wii, though not that big of a jump. That was not that big of a jump. I mean, but I mean, essentially, the way that the hardware works is the same, and that's why the GameCube games work flawlessly on the Wii, because it's essentially the same hardware. Well, I think, they could, if they would take that upgrade path going forward, and they probably can with what they've already designed for these systems.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is some appeal, but at the same time, like, I don't like obviously mobile isn't struggling, but I don't, and I don't really download a lot of apps, so I don't really know much about how this is communicated. But like, it just seems so confusing to me, because how do you communicate to someone, this will run on your system, but this one won't? Like, that's, or it'll run on this system, but this system's too old.
Right.
Like that's just sort of, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know how they would communicate that. And especially, I mean, in a way, they made, iPad, don't they just call those iPad 2, iPad 3? I don't know. Like, that's easy, but with these systems,
well,
like,
eventually they just call them the iPad. Now they do. I mean, there's like the iPad, like there's the big one, the iPad mini, just a regular iPad.
Yeah, but how do you tell people that this works on your system and this doesn't? I don't know.
That's not.
I don't know.
That's not our problem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and start this first one.
Let's do it.
The first one This is I always have a hard time saying it out loud. This is Mushihimesama Futari for the Xbox 360. This is an import game, actually. It's region free.
Okay.
So it is.
Now, are any of these released?
This is the sequel. The first game in this series is available on Steam right now, and it's really good.
Yeah, this, shmup. There's shmups, and then there's this, and this is a whole realm above shmups. And I'm bad at shmups as it is. So.
Yeah, let me just fix my name real quick. There we go.
Again, this is a genre that I wish I were into. It just, it looks cool and fun, but I'm just I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, I need to stress before we get really into this is like I'm not a pro at these games. I think that they're really, really fun to play. This game does offer unlimited continues because it's more about the score. You can play with only one continue to get like the highest score. But, like I'm not like there's people who are really, really good at it. I play to get better every time. But I'm not amazing at it. Just so hopefully people will not be let down.
I think a lot of people kind of live and breathe these games.
Yes.
Like there are some people who are crazy into this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like, I like what I like. The first one I ever played that's like this was Mars Matrix, which I really, really love. And then from there, I mean, like, I guess Ikaruga could be considered a bullet hell. I mean, it has a lot of, I never really viewed it as that, but I guess it is.
Yeah, I'd like to give, I mean, Ikaruga is probably like a good, like, starter.
Right.
From what I understand.
See, I don't know what the difference is between these modes. Like, there's original, which I assume is like the arcade mode, and the Maniac and Ultra. Ultra is like crazy, crazy, crazy. So I've been playing on Maniac a bit. There's two different characters in this one. Rico and Palm. And they both have like different sets of attacks. It'd be Rico.
So the game is for your hidden gems. It is a cave game.
Yes, it's a side scroller though.
Okay. See, I didn't realize it was by cave. And it sounded pretty interesting because then you say that you can record entire playthroughs.
Well, no, that's just the replay. This has you can save your replay as well. It's not recording it. It's just like.
I mean, it's saving ghost data.
Yes.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. So you were saying that you were just going like save the run, but then record it later.
Right, which is exactly what I did. You know, like I just kind of got like saved my best ones, and then I just recorded it after the fact. So the thing with these is that it's like really all about like the hitboxes. If you'll notice, I don't know if you can even see it. Like there's like a little glowing spot in the middle of like of my vehicle, or my bug princess, if you will. Which is, I believe, that's what Mushihimesama translates to. It's just like a little flashing thing, and like as long as that doesn't get hit by a bullet, then you don't die. So you can actually like weave through like a lot of really tight spots, and it might look like you'd normally die, but you do not. Because it's all about that little spot getting hit.
Feels like you would need like a really precise analog stick for this.
No, like analog stick is not like I use the D-pad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's no analog movement. It's an arcade game, so it's just digital.
Ah. Like ever since doing that N64 analog stick episode, like I've come to realize that analog sticks aren't as like modern ones aren't necessarily as robust as that one is. Like in terms of the degrees of movement.
Is it 64?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of crazy. Like I don't know for sure. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, because I really don't know the specifics. But are modern analog sticks, is there such a thing as one that can do as many degrees of movement as the N64?
I don't know. Maybe it's just too much.
Maybe it is too much. But then you've got Mario 64, which uses it perfectly.
That's true. But do you need that many degrees? I mean, other ones work just fine without that many degrees.
Yeah, but not many games are as good as Mario 64. Just throwing that out.
So you notice a lot of slowdown in this game is all intentional, because it gets so intense at times that that's the only way you can possibly like make the moves you need.
Can you play it without slowdown? Or is it a required feature?
I'm pretty sure it's a required feature. I don't think you can turn it off.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
Maybe there is. I mean, you know what's really interesting about this game is that M2 did the home port of it, which I was really surprised, because their name has not been on any of the other ones that I've done. And that's why I think it has like so many more like different options. You can have like scan lines and all those other different like visual options that the other cave shooters don't seem to have.
Yeah, how do you feel about how modern games, instead of doing slowdown, drop frames?
I don't know. I don't really think about it.
Yeah, I don't think about it done either. Like, I don't know. I think I kind of like slowdown better, but obviously if a game is going to be connected online, then you can't have slowdown.
That's true.
You got to drop, like the simulation has to run at the same pace, or else it doesn't work. I don't know. Slowdown's kind of cool, though. I mean, it's just...
Well, it's always,
It's helpful. It's helpful, and drop frames is not helpful.
That's true. That's true. And, like, it's a definite difference because, I mean, you're not really, like, you have slow down this, but you don't have, like, the sprite, like, a flicker that you used to have that would accompany slow down in a lot of 16-bit, 8 and 16-bit games.
Now, the game that your hidden gem, is it this skinny box?
So the skinny box. It is not. It's actually quite a bit like larger in terms of.
Is it a 16:9 game, or is it?
It's window boxed for sure. See, the cool thing about this is like you just get into this like zone where you're just like doing where you just kind of like pull this stuff off, where you just start making moves that you have no idea like how you're even doing it.
What's the ETA on the next episode? GameCube episode. We like we said earlier. We're sorry for the wait on it. It will literally be out the second it is possible for it to come out. We're waiting to receive a package that we just can't release the episode without. And we're really hoping for it to release this week. But
I feel good about this week, but I felt good about last week too.
Well, we're just hoping. But aside from the unknown release of the GameCube episode, we're going to release something the first weekend in April for sure. And we're kind of working on the schedule beyond that, but we apologize that March has been kind of slow.
Right. Yeah, it hasn't been intentional. We just didn't think that the GameCube episode would be this far out.
Right.
I think.
So we didn't have like a plan in place to get other episodes prepped. So like I said, we're looking ahead to April, and so we've kind of got some of our April plans.
Yeah, we'll be like back on track very soon. Like as soon as GameCube is out, we're like back on track. Essentially, like we've created like what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
Like it's actually like interestingly timed. Like I know that you know this, but I guess like it's kind of heading into like an interesting situation in my personal life starting tomorrow actually is that my wife got a full-time job at a advertising agency like doing design, and I've been working freelance at home for like the last 2 years, and I haven't been super busy but like this year, so it's been very like kind of it's very feast or famine. And so like we were both been trying to get like full-time jobs. Like we've both been working like part-time jobs to like help out because it's been so slow. But then my wife like applies for this design job, just kind of like no expectations or anything, and like gets it. And I am like gonna continue working freelance, but the flip side of that is that I am officially like a stay-at-home dad for like my 2 kids, like starting tomorrow. So like it's kind of crazy, but that's like gonna be my main thing, which is actually like it's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be.
I think it's gonna be cool.
It could be cool. It could be like it's just gonna be like it could be like very tiring. Like I have no idea what to expect.
You're still gonna have opportunities to get stuff done during the day,
Well, during naps, like I guess like my son, who is like a year and 3 months, is going daycare for the first time on Thursday. So like at least once a week, I'm gonna have like one day for sure, like completely off, like where both kids will be at daycare and like my wife will be at work. So I'll have like those days, but I'm just gonna try to I'm gonna keep my stuff. I'm gonna write my scripts like all day long. essentially.
You don't have time probably to just like play games and get some recordings done.
Right, but I mean that's
the evenings are going to be like your edit crunch time.
yes, exactly. I mean, it's just, like it's not a situation that I was expecting. Neither one of us were expecting it to be like this, because we've both been working freelance from home since we moved here, and it's been just over 2 years since moving to Cincinnati, and it's good that she got this job, because we really needed something that they have like more regular income. But it's gonna be an adjustment. So it's an interesting kind of like timing with, I think it's gonna be fine. Like I'm gonna try to write all my scripts. And writing is like the hardest part that it's the thing I struggle with most. So if I just constantly,
I think you have to do writing at like a particular time and place and situation. Like, because for me, like I struggle with writing at home, but like.
Right, which is why
I write at work, which I shouldn't do, but I do. And like if something strikes me, if I get like an idea on my way to work, like I just like sit down and just like crank out like most of a script before lunch. Like it just comes.
And that's what I'm hoping, because I'll be technically doing that. Like if I'm just hanging out, it's not like I can't like go to my like where I'm at right now, which is where I write a lot of times, but I think that I'm going to be writing, just like while the kids are playing, and I'm just like sitting with them. So I think that'll actually be good for me.
Yeah, and that'll keep your thought processes going and stuff.
Right.
There was a question a bit back up asking about SCART switchers and what do we think about the G-SCART. And now I can't say about the newest G-SCART.
We have one coming. We have a newest G-SCART coming.
We're hoping to use one, and we are going to do an episode. But I've got the earlier version of the G-SCART, which was not as widely available, and it's great. I mean, the G-SCART is. I feel confident saying that the G-SCART is probably going to be the thing.
Yes. It's expensive, but it's going to be worth it.
It is going to be worth it. Like it's going to do what you want it to do. I don't think there's going to.
It's going to be like the be all end all solution for it.
It's going to be like the Framemeister of SCART switches.
Right.
It's like
and eight inputs is like a really good 8 inputs is a really good number.
Now, I'm running out on that, but I mean you can chain them together, but that would obviously be hugely expensive, and you'd also have to hope that they're in stock and stuff.
Right. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to run one of my band ridges into one of the slots on it, and just like put like some of my lesser used systems in that.
I mean, if I ever had enough money, I would consider getting a second G-SCART. But man, I mean, the early ones were not as expensive as the ones now are. But as it is, even with the higher price, and I forget what it is, but even with the higher price, like I've heard that there's very little profit in it. So I mean, it's a pretty robust little box, and it just works. The only downside would be if you for some reason have something against no option for manual switching. It's all automatic, which at first I was a little nervous about, but it's so nice because I've got it behind my TV cabinet, and I don't even. I don't have to punch anything. I don't do anything. It just works perfectly. The only thing is, you just got to be careful to not turn on more than one system at a time, or else something will get screwed up. I tried it once, and of course, I'm speaking of the old version, but I tried it once, and it was like kind of glitchy. And then just for the heck of it, I turned on 3 systems and was like, nope. But yeah, so because I used to do a thing on the backloggery streams where like I would just like play like a bunch of random games on random systems, and so as I was like, I'd just play like one for like 10 minutes, and then so I would have multiple systems on at once, and obviously I can't do that way,
Right.
now. But so I just turn on one at a time. Works.
I saw something. Somebody said something about like the person who's sending us the Super 8. So that's me who has the PO box.
Yeah, Corey's the one in Kentucky. I need to get a PO box here. I'm in North Carolina.
They're not that expensive. They're like 35. I mean, I know that they're like $35 a year here.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was like 65.
It was more, but it went.
I thought it was 65 for like half a year.
It went down in price here because I think nobody was buying them.
Oh, well, I'll look into it again. I've actually still got the. I asked for a full one.
It might be $30 for
half a year.
Half a year, and that's why I was like 60.
Maybe. Like, I thought about it. I was just like, man, I don't know if I want to pay that.
I see somebody said on the chat about having a experience with psycho shooters. Is it psycho? Maybe. I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'm sure that I have. I know the name. I mean, like I like what I like, and I'm not particularly good at them, but I just think they're really fun, and it's like. It gets so they get so crazy that it's like a total like adrenaline rush. It's rewarding if you make it through craziness without dying, regardless of if you get unlimited continues or not. I mean, that's what I like about these.
Oh, I am in the Charlotte area. I mean, generally, I see you doing pretty good here. Like,
I've died a lot.
Yeah, you've died a lot, but I'm seeing you dodging stuff that like
Yeah.
I think I would basically never dodge anything.
Sakurazaki, I played Gunbird 2 on the Dreamcast. I played Strikers 1945, obviously, too. A friend of mine has a cabinet of that. Has a CD of it. And it's an extra one, so maybe it's something I would consider in the future if I end up getting that super gun we talked about last week. But yeah, I mean, like I'm not particularly good at shooters, but I just think they are really fun to play. This game has a great soundtrack. So does the first one.
Is this one of those things that's made by one person?
No.
Okay.
Cave is like I think they're generally considered like the main bullet hell people. Like they make like the best ones. They have quite a few. I mean, I just got this, like imported this, and now I've been kind of like looking at the other ones to import. Like they have one, like I probably am just gonna say it wrong, which is always how I've always said it when I'm saying it, is like the Esgaluda or ESP Galuda. Maybe it's ESP. I don't know. But that's like another one. Like that's another region-free Xbox 360 game that I would like to. And they're not that expensive because Amazon like carries them like all normally. Like, you don't have to import them or anything. They're it's like, this was like $30 off Amazon, and it's actually like it's like a platinum collection. It's like a greatest hits.
Okay, Toho is the thing I'm thinking of that's made by one person.
Oh, okay.
Conker's Bad Fur Day and Bomberman the 64-second attack for pretty much free. How did you luck into that?
I got Conker's Bad Fur Day for free from a friend of mine. It was like in his basement, and it's complete in box too.
I wanted to get, before I realized just how expensive it was, I wanted to get Bomberman 64-second attack because I just thought it was an interesting tie-in. Like, I wanted to do even though it has like no similarity whatsoever, I wanted to do a before and after video on I wanted to do before Final Fantasy 14 Bomberman 64 the second attack. Because the director who came in to save Final Fantasy 14 from its disastrous launch, the first game he directed, I think the first game he directed was Bomberman 64.
Just like the story
second
mode.
attack.
Like the story mode in it, right?
Yeah, he directed the story mode of Bomberman 64, the second attack. The SCART switch box is called the G-SCART SW. I assume that means G-SCART switch. Check RetroRGB.com, though all of the pre-orders are already claimed, and I think they're supposed to be releasing pretty soon. I think the original projection was March. I don't know if that's going to hit or not. I haven't heard an update, but is it like what, $200?
I thought it was like $230.
It is not cheap.
No.
But I like I say, I have not used that version, but since I have an older version, like I feel like I can recommend it with some confidence because it really does perform nicely. I had some trouble with it at first, but I think it was I just had some mismatched sync stuff in my setup at the time, and everything's sorted out now, and it's awesome. It should not add any latency in theory. No.
Right. I mean, you haven't had any trouble with it. Like that.
No. I mean, it doesn't.
It's powered and everything.
Yeah. I mean, well, it doesn't have to be powered. In fact, I don't have it powered because I tried powering it, but I couldn't tell a difference between powered and unpowered, so I don't have it powered. I mean, SCART, one of the pins in SCART provides some degree of voltage anyway. I mean, I don't know. I would
just run it powered.
I don't know how that plays in,
safety.
or if it plays in at all to maintaining the quality. But yeah, I mean, I would absolutely power it if I needed to, but I just can't really see a reason to. I just don't. It doesn't seem to make a difference in my case. But yeah, I mean, I think the only reason latency would be added would be if it processed or anything. But I mean, it's just switching analog signals. So I don't consider myself an expert on how all that works, but I don't think you definitely don't have to worry about any latency added. So the way I've got my setup going is. And you know, I haven't done like a hardcore like test of quality, but just like looking at it, I can't see a difference. Doing through the switcher, into the PVM, out of the PVM, into the FrameMeister. I mean, it looks great. I mean, that sounds like a lot of different things that it's going through, but I don't have any issues. It looks fine to me.
This is the last boss. It's just like, I can't imagine like how anybody can like make it through without ever like. It's like a big thing is like the 1 credit clear, like beating these games without continuing. It's like what a lot of people that play these games go for. I can't even imagine that. But maybe it's something I should like. Maybe I do an episode about something like that someday, or it'd be like over a long period of time. Be like a vlog of the trials and of doing a one credit.
Question for Coury, which could also be a question for me. Using a H4n for your streaming mic, is it because of simplicity, or do you prefer the stereo mic setup for it? Mine's also a H4n.
I just like the H4n. Like, we use it to record all of our on-camera audio in our episodes too.
Yeah.
And it's just like
in a lot of ways, it is for the simplicity. I mean, I use it as my streaming mic in a lot of ways for the simplicity. But I do just like how it sounds.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the built-in mics are plenty high enough quality for me anyway. Like, I'm no like hardcore audio engineer, sound mixer kind of guy. I just don't have the brain for that. I'm not audio oriented.
Our audio has gotten a lot better, though, I think, over time.
Yeah.
Like, if you kind of go, you know, like, I think it's just because I've soundproofed my room so much. And the same with you. Like, you've soundproofed your area so much.
To a small degree. I still have a few more steps I want to take with that. But yeah, I mean, I just like how it sounds. It's easy. I'm also using a compressor as part of my stream setup, and it takes line input. And that was kind of difficult to do when I was using, like, a regular microphone. So I just have a, you know, I just take the headphone jack out of H4n, and it's just easy.
I'm just getting wrecked by this guy.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not in the shot because you should, you know, let me get a picture here so you can see. Coury doesn't have his in the shot at all. Now, like if I'm like live on,
take it from when you shoot your green screen.
Yeah, I want. There was one where it was just like kind of ridiculous, but I don't know which one it was. But I'll show you one. I mean, they're all pretty similar, how they're set up. But when I'm live on set, like for example, if you look at the power adapters episode, you'll notice that I'm really close to the edge of the screen. Part of that is so that there's room for like a box beside me. The other part of it is because the H4n is hiding not too far off the side. Like you might notice that in the N64 analog stick episode, I wasn't quite as far off to the side, and it's definitely a little echoier sounding in that episode. Let's see. Where can I find it? Here. Can I share shots in the
If you sent your screen, you could probably send it through. I don't know if I have to accept it or not. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious because mine is just like my microphone is just below camera level, and it's just like I use these like quick release.
Your microphone is low.
Yeah, but I angle it. It's on a mic stand, and then it has a ball head on top of it, so I can kind of aim it up towards me. Oh, there it is.
Is it?
That's not even as bad as it normally is.
Yeah. Can you?
I don't know if I can.
Can you see that? Like, is the whole thing coming out on stream?
Well, just the only thing that's not coming on the screen. There you go. That works.
Like that big black thing in the corner is one of my lights. Well, like there was one episode where it where like I was like perfectly like boxed in by like the other light on the other side. Like it's kind of crazy. So I I draw a mask around, or I draw a mask around myself, and then I do the key. So when you see me in a GameCube episode, there's actually all this crap around me.
So I'm gonna play the I'm gonna play the insane mode. I can't remember what it's called. I want you to watch it though, because it's so out of control that I don't know. It's gonna be the what mode is it? Ultra mode. I think it has like a warning saying like, "Are you sure you want to play this?" before you start. I mean, it's like ridiculous. Oh, now you're like your camera is like weird. Like you're way closer than you were before. There you go.
Really?
I think it's just because you were sitting.
Was I lean in or something?
We'll do this one. There you go. But this is like, I just want you to see this because it's like, it's hilariously like impossible.
Oh, I think it is zoomed in more now for some reason after I stopped sharing the screen. Weird.
Now you're watching the stream. I just want you to see like how it gets, how crazy it gets.
So when you blow something up, their shots die with it?
Not always. A lot of them like have like shoot out more. But yes, it seems like a lot of times their shots do. Like there's like, it's different for like every game. Where it's like I can't remember what it's called, like suicide bullets or something. I mean, this is the first level. But if you ever want to give these a shot, a really good one, it's probably will be on sale sometime. It's been on sale before. Is Jamestown on the?
I've heard of that.
That's on the PS4. It's really good.
Now, who made that?
I can't remember what they're called. It has a 4-player mode too on it. Jeez. I'm pretty sure it's a Western developer. But it's. Jeez.
I feel like Jamestown is like an unfortunate name for that game because like when I had heard people talking about the game for a while, I assumed that it was like some sort of like civilization or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I thought too for the longest time. And you know what's funny is like I thought that, and I grew up in a town called Jamestown.
Not the famous Jamestown.
Right.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not a big simulation type guy. I played Civ 4, I think, the one with the song that everyone likes.
I don't know. I had a friend who was really into Civilization, like the games and stuff.
Yeah, it's just, I can appreciate it, but it's just not my thing. So when I heard people gushing about some game called Jamestown, I just assumed that's what it sounds like, you know. building ye old colonial America. That's what it sounds
I know.
like.
That's what I thought it was too.
So, like, why is it called Jamestown?
Well, I think it's just because it's kind of like that, but it's kind of like a steampunk version of that,
Okay.
and it's a shooter.
So it's like steampunk colonial America.
Yes, in shooter form. And not colonial America. It's like different planets, like Mars and all these different. It's like different planets instead of like the frontier is space.
Ah, okay.
There's probably like more of a reason for it, but it's like I don't really pay attention to the story that much. It's like it's freaking crazy. So I'm gonna play this, and then I'm gonna play the one I'm gonna do in the Hidden Gems. I was gonna play Death Smiles as well, which is another one that I have. That was recently released on Steam as well. So I have the 360 version, the US version of that. But I'm gonna play the one I'm gonna do in Hidden Gems because I've been playing that the most out of everything these last few days. It's very much one of the it's one of those just one more games kind of game for me. And it was because of the time I had with that I went and decided to order this as well. Even though I was gifted the Steam version, not of this, but of the prequel to this. I am a member of the backlog read. I've been playing it a whole bunch. I was initially disappointed that this was the sequel and it wasn't that one because I really wanted to have like a physical version of the first game. Mainly because I really like the music in it.
What's that MP that floats by?
The MP, I think it's an FP, which is like
okay.
you drop it when you continue, and I think it just like stands for like full power or something like that.
Oh, okay.
There's no like you power up your things, but it's not you power up pretty quick.
Okay, so it's not the Gradius style thing,
right?
Where, like the whole game is about upgrading and keeping it.
Right. This is you are pretty much, or no, it's MP. It's like I think it's maximum power.
Maximum power.
I might be wrong. How's the compression holding up on this? I had to
actually not that bad.
I was so concerned whether or not you'd be able to see anything. See, I have no idea how I just survived.
Didn't you have to record the footage for your episode and constant bitrate?
Well, I did just because I didn't want to. I didn't know if it would just go crazy with the compression or not. Oh, we got somebody in the chat saying something about a DVD edge. Raven 575. I don't know if you saw our tweets about it a couple days ago, but that's something we would love to talk to you about.
Yes, we want to do this episode on FrameMeister alternatives, and we kind of feel like the episode would be incomplete without featuring that. So yes, we would very much like to borrow one.
Yeah, we'll pay shipping and everything.
Yeah,
obviously. I mean, I even went as far as just to kind of see how it works. I was at Goodwill yesterday and they had like 50% off of everything, and I saw they had a DVD recorder where you can like put like whatever any source you want into it, and it will upscale it to 720p and 1080i. So I just like got it because it was like $17 like after 50% off, and like that's like an alternative, you know, like some people might have to upscale to their HDTV, and I want to see like what kind of lag it has, and the quality and everything, you know. It's just kind of interesting, even though you can't run like SCART into it, but it's just like is an interesting kind of like approach. It's kind of like, hey, you might see this if you're just like maybe somebody you know is giving this away.
But yeah, that episode is probably a couple of months out. But I mean, you know, if you need it back like quickly, you know, we can get what we need from it and send it back. You know, even well before the episode is out. You know,
Right.
whatever works for you.
Yeah, I mean, we've already gotten stuff for it.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
That's
I
just
guess
that-
I could. I guess I could. You know, one thing for that episode is an arm's reach. Should I
Yeah, show it.
show it?
Well, have you figure out your sync issues with it?
No, I haven't. I haven't got around to playing around with it anymore.
Are you gonna message him about it if you can't figure it out?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him yet. But this right here is the fabled open source scan converter, the OSSC.
It's kind of it's a homebrew solution.
In fact a similar looking design to the G-SCART. You know, you've got and the Toro box, the Toro VGA box. You know, where you've got these like layers of semi-transparent plastic on the top and bottom, and you know, it's open. It's open. You know, you can open source. No, that's not what I called it. But you know, I mean, so a lot of people are kind of unsure about this style of design, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. But I haven't had much time to test it yet, and I was having sync issues with some systems, and I don't know what I was doing wrong, so I need to figure out a lot more about it. But you know, it's still in development. You know, this is not released or widely available, and this isn't even ours to keep. It's just sort of going around to, you know, people who do reviews of this kind of stuff, like Matt Buxton from Video Game Perfection had it, and I think there's a review on that Hazard City website.
Yeah, Fudo did it, and he's the one that actually contacted us about it.
Yeah,
He did the site, the Scanlines Demystified, like the site that essentially is like the place to go for upscaler stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's,
I mean,
like
he talks about more than just frame mice. I mean, all kinds of upscalers. I mean, that website was where we were first finding out about this stuff, and we're like, what is this?
Like, how is that possible to look like that?
That's not possible. Like, but yeah, so I mean, there's already some reviews out there.
But it's not final firmware yet, as far as I know.
It's not finalized yet, and so it's probably going to be much later this year that it's actually released. Is my feeling, because I think there are still some issues to work out for it to be, you know, easy to use. You know, hopefully I'm going to figure out what some of those sync issues I was having were. You know, I was going through my switcher, so that could have been part of it. Yeah. Yes, it does also do scanline generation, but it's
Doesn't have nearly as many options as the
right.
FrameMeister.
Right. It's not the same kind of scaler as the FrameMeister, but it's designed to be faster and less expensive. But when I say less expensive, don't expect it to be like, you know, $60 or something like that. I mean, it's probably going to be comparable to like what the G-SCART costs from what I'm hearing. Okay, Raven, that's great. Well, send us. Do you know his Twitter, Coury?
I do not. If he wants to send us a message on
Yeah, just send us a DM on Twitter or even just a regular tweet, and we'll get in contact about where to send that or when to send that or what details of how long we can have our hands on, and et cetera, et cetera. Like I say, we'll work with your schedule. If you
is he based in the U.S.?
If you need it back in a week, we'll do what we can in a week.
Yeah. That's great news.
The latest news on the HD Retrovision is that I believe it's in production.
Yeah, they sent it off to.
They approved the final production models.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're going to hear something probably like by the end of the month.
Yeah, probably really soon. I don't. Does G-SCART have a JP21 version? Don't quote me on this, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. The interesting thing about the new G-SCART, though, I think is kind of cool, is that it has like a second output in like a VGA RGB.
Right, it does dual SCART and VGA at the same time, I believe.
No, it's only one SCART, but it's the other one's is a VGA RGB output.
I didn't mean dual SCART. I meant it. You have the SCART output and you have the
VGA,
and they work at the same time, I think.
Yes, they do, which is actually kind of cool because I'm going to run one of them into my my PEX HD cap, so I could like capture in like native 240p if I ever wanted to, just like a straight 240p instead of like anything upscaled.
Mm-hmm. See, that would be cool. Like to have a native 240p capture, because if you did high quality, then you could just like run it back through the FrameMeister.
Right. Look at this. Wait till you see this. What's happening right now? I can't believe I survived that. It's like.
Okay, I think it's coming up.
Yeah.
Like, that's so stupid.
I know, but it's almost like a puzzle, you know?
Yeah.
But like it definitely has a lot of appeal to it. I mean, it's scary looking, but it's a lot more scary looking than it actually is, I think. Not that it's not scary looking, or not that it's not scary, but...
Oh, for some reason, I misread the Raven's message. He said he did drop his Twitter name as Superstar Power Up.
Oh, okay.
That's super without an E. Superstar Power Up.
Yeah, he has the Mario star. It's like his thing. Yeah, send us a DM. We have, if you can send us something on that on Twitter, then we have it set so that anybody can send DMs to that account. It doesn't need like a follow back or anything.
Christopher, I don't know if I have a ton of interest in reviewing the Analog NT, just because, I am curious about what its RGB is like. As far as I know, it does not use Tim Worthington's board, so I'm...
No, it uses like the... Oh, you mean...
For HDMI, but the thing is, if you have HDMI, I don't think you can have RGB. Correct me if I'm wrong. You pick one or the other.
I mean, if they...
For the Analog NT. I would review it, but I feel like we reviewed RGB on the NES, and we reviewed HDMI on the NES, and I don't think like the actual results are going to be different.
We do a video on the Analog NT if they sent us one. We can't afford to buy one, but if they wanted to like send us one, then sure.
Well, Christopher here was saying that he was willing to loan us one if he wanted to. I mean, I would be so interested if we didn't already review the HD NES. but I mean, we've just got like so many ideas right now.
Yeah.
And like not nearly enough time to do them, and I don't think it offers enough of anything different from what we've already done. But yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know if they might one day release another version of it or something.
Well, I know they just released not a new version, but like they just restocked them, I guess. Okay. And I guess it has like some improvements in stream. Like, I don't know. You can get like different colored shells on them now if you want. I saw one that was pretty cool that was like Famicom colors. It was like that kind of red.
Oh, the golden red, yeah.
Yeah, and then it had like a transparent bottom, so you can like see that really cool.
Yeah, it is a very. I mean, from the pictures that they showed, at least, is a very pretty motherboard. Okay, yeah. So Christopher says I'm right. It's RGB or HDMI, and he has HDMI. We saw an analog NT in person at G Anime, actually.
Yeah.
And we were very surprised by how heavy it is. It's like so heavy.
All right, I'm gonna switch the game. I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, it's a really solid, feeling system. Like I was impressed with how it felt. But yeah, I don't think that would. I mean, it would basically just be reviewing the outside, and the thing's been out for so long at this point that I feel like enough people have already given their thoughts on how it's constructed and how it looks, et cetera, et cetera. And, we've essentially already reviewed the video output. And that was one reason I was so excited to have the opportunity to borrow the high-def NES, was because I was like, oh, this is like doing a Retron, or not Retron. Well, this is like doing an analog NT review without having our hands-on analog NT. Analog NT is sold out indefinitely at this point. Are they not planning to make any others? How does Famicom Disk System look running on RGB Famicom? It looks like playing an RGB Famicom game. It's wonderful. It's glorious. It's beautiful, and it's so cool to get to play the Disk System games and RGB. I like I said, we've got so many more ideas than we've got time. But one of the episodes that I'm really excited to do at some point this year is going to be a Famicom Disk System themed episode. Well, you can look at the Famicom 3D system video because there are 3 or 4 disk system games in that episode.
In what?
3 disk system games. Yeah, 3 disk system games in that episode. Falsian, 3D Hot Rally, and Fuan Shaolin something. That's why I call it in the episode, Fuan Shaolin something.
So this is Akai Katana, which is...
Okay. This is your hidden gem.
This is my hidden gem. It's going to be on the episode, I think it's first episode in April. If you like how this looks, it's like $11 brand new on Amazon right now.
Really?
Yeah. It's a whole different modes. I'm really like the Origin is like the arcade game, and then Climax is the arcade game, but it has all these limits removed, and then Slash has a totally different kind of gameplay, which I think is a lot more fun. So I'm gonna be playing the Slash mode.
Now, is this European or?
No, this is U.S. is released.
Oh, okay.
In the US.
I saw Rising Star Games, which I sort of recognize as I think they think they've published like a lot of stuff that like I want to say McCheskey or someone like that publishes here. I've seen Rising Star Games publish in Europe, so I wasn't sure if they were a North American publisher or not.
No, they're North American. They do like a lot of like random stuff. But this is a side scroller. I think it's very good.
Okay, so you're like in a biplane.
Yeah, but you can become like it can turn into a person.
Have you played? I forget. I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, but there was a game last gen.
I'm gonna start because I was doing really bad.
Where it was like kind of like World War I or World War II themed. But it was like on another planet, and the characters were like kind of like. It was kind of like World War. It was kind of like Star Fox World War II is what it looked like. It had a strange name though. I'm drawing a blank on what it was. I played the demo and thought it was pretty good. I thought about getting it. What's the name of this game again?
This is called Akai Katana.
Akai Katana.
Okay, so you become this person. Like you can summon this person who can like do all kinds of this. You make these big combos, essentially. You'll see what it does. Like I make these giant swords. You can do it, and you can look at all these things fly out, all these points. It took me a long time. This one's a little bit more complicated to figure out than some of the other ones. Took me a while to understand it, really.
Now, I don't see borders on the sides. Are we pretty much seeing the whole game screen on stream here?
On the side, actually, I would need to zoom out a little bit. There's like a health meter on the side for the enemies, for the bosses. But I'm not gonna mess around with
yeah,
it.
no need to screw your stream setup for that.
Well, I mean, I could technically easily switch it to 16:9.
Oh, okay.
So the kind of crazy thing about this is that, you know, it's kind of like very much like a World War II kind of, but like these guys have these superpowers and they like pull different like like battleships from like a different dimension or something, and they like throw them at you. Like they're pulling like giant like boats and tanks and stuff like out of. You'll see.
I mean, I just saw some giant boats flying across the screen. Okay, so the game I was thinking of is called Sign Mora. I don't know.
Oh yeah. That's like a downloadable. Yes. It's
it's made by Grasshopper Manufacturer. I forgot about that. They're the people that did like Killer 7.
Yeah,
and,
I think that they just published it though.
No More Heroes. I don't know. I think they might have made it.
Really? I have that. I have that on the 360 actually.
Yeah, I played the demo on PS3 and I liked it. I thought about getting it, but it seemed way more playable for me than like typical shoot 'em up.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe a little less crazy. Like, I mean, UN Squadron's too crazy for me as it is.
That's surprising. Like UN Squadron is like not crazy at all.
I'm so bad at it. Like, I want to be good at it. I really do. Like, I don't want to be good at it. I just want to beat it. The only system that either of us, I believe, has soft modded is the Wii. And the only reason I even soft modded the Wii was because I wanted to be able to play imports.
Right. I mean, I soft modded mine, and I didn't even do it. I haven't even done anything with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I soft mod mine because I was gifted Xenoblade before the US version came out. And I was like, well, I want to play this. So I soft modded my Wii, and then someone else gifted me Disaster Day of Crisis. Which is,
and you marathon that, right?
I did. I played that on Marathon. It was a little longer than I expected. That game is actually not that bad. It's pretty goofy. It kind of weird, but it is not bad. It is not bad. I would, yeah. I mean, if you're kind of into sort of campy games, or you can handle a healthy dose of clunkiness. I mean, it's not that clunky. It's not. It is not a bad game.
So if anybody wants to see an in-depth review on this, I highly recommend the channel Bullet Heaven, which is just is based on just doing shooters. I'm really a big fan of that channel. I don't know if people that do it have
familiar with it.
I really wanted to ask them if they
job.
wanted to be on with us tonight, but I don't know if they've ever seen any of our stuff. So I don't know. So you saw he's pulling out airplanes right there. That's pretty tame compared to what starts to happen later on.
Well, it's Sin and Punishment.
Yeah, it
kind of has a little bit of that.
Yeah. It gets pretty crazy though.
We've been getting a lot
with
comments.
Aircraft carriers later on.
I mean, we get the, every once in a while we'll get comments there what's the game at 4:12 or whatever,
Right.
And I click on, and I'm like, okay, what is it? And it's Sin and Punishment 2.
And it's every time it's been Sin and Punishment 2.
That's happened
It was 2 comments in a row.
In 2 different episodes. Yeah. Asking what is this game? I wonder if they're maybe the kind of people that had no idea that the Wii actually has some pretty freaking awesome games.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody here has not played Sin and Punishment 2, you should, because
because it might be the best game on the Wii.
Yeah,
it's so freaking good. Well, I just think that's cool. It's people are interested in it, and rightly so. And by the way, Sin and Punishment 2 is also in the GameCube episode.
Yeah, it's also you can download it on the Wii U, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
It is in the GameCube episode because there's a line where Coury says the Wii U is backwards compatible. Or is backwards compatible through virtualization, but only with Wii games. And what game do I pick to represent Wii games? Sin and Punishment 2, obviously.
It's a great game. I hope I didn't spoil anybody's Hidden Gems episode by playing this game.
Spoil their enjoyment.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're going to go into detail, I mean, I feel like seeing it on stream and seeing it in the episode is so different because you're able to sort of flesh out your perspective in the episode, and then the stream is okay, well, we get to see how this really plays in practice.
Right. See, now this guy's throwing trains at me. Or he's just, they're coming out and they're shooting at me.
Yeah, I agree, Pat Dan. I agree that Mario Galaxy is probably the best game on the Wii. But sometimes I'm I don't know, maybe it's Sin and Punishment 2. Depends on my mood.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mario
I'd say
Galaxy 2,
Mario Galaxy is the best game on the system as well, but Sin and Punishment is a very close second.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Mario Galaxy 2, I'm like, I wouldn't say it didn't do it for me, but it was nowhere near as memorable. Like, a lot of people say that Mario Galaxy 2 is better from a level design standpoint, but I didn't really get that feeling from it. It's good, but it just didn't really have the same special feeling or as good a music, I felt.
See, this level right here just like randomly starts and you're flying your plane underwater. For no real reason. You're just fighting like submarines and everything. I don't know if, like, I saw somebody say this game looks amazing. If you're interested, it's like $11 on Amazon right now.
You know, come to think of it, like, all of the games that we're recommending in our upcoming Hidden Gems are pretty affordable too, right?
Yeah.
Like, both of my games.
I think my second one is like a
$10.
little bit more expensive, but like it's not like expensive.
Yeah.
It's
Both of my games are go for $10. Though you do need a certain accessory to play them, but it's not expensive. Am I working on a complete Nintendo Power Collection? I wish I wish I was, but sadly no. I don't know what range of issues I have. I've got like maybe from maybe 94. By that I mean issue 94 through sometime maybe mid to late GameCube era. So I'm a pretty far cry away, and it would kind of be a little expensive to get it all. But I wish it's the sort of thing I wish I had, but I don't have any plans to have.
I spent a whole bunch of time, like after we talked about magazines on last week's stream. I spent a whole bunch of time like looking through my game fans this week because of Classic Gaming Quarterly doing the Let's Read game fan.
What AV receiver do I have? It is I actually looked at the model number just the other day. Let me look at it real quick. It is a Sony STR-DG800. I keep thinking about upgrading, but it's just like, seems kind of not worth it. Like, I mean, a receiver, generally speaking, you're set for a while. The only thing I don't like about it is that I can't do audio over HDMI with it. Like, that's the big downside.
Mine has that same problem.
Because it was like right when HDMI was barely starting to become a thing, because I got it in 2006.
Okay, so mine maybe I think mine can do audio over HDMI, but it cannot do like 5.1. It can only do like stereo, and that's it.
Yeah, so I have thought about upgrade. I've actually even I know it sounds crazy, but like I've even flirted with the idea of downgrading my audio setup. Like, I was like, do I really need these 5 speakers taking up all this space? Like, part of me just wants to like get a sound bar and like make it simple.
Ah.
Like, I'm not like even that big of like a surround sound kind of guy or anything, Like, I'm not an audiophile. Like, I like to have good quality audio, but I'm not the kind of person that is really going to appreciate that the RCA PlayStation 1 sounds somewhat better than other models. I'm not like that. The best thing about that receiver, though, is that it will output composite and S-video over component, which I think it might. I don't know how good a job it does in terms of quality like that, because I haven't done that since I've been into the FrameMeister and that kind of stuff. So I haven't done a real comparison, but it was certainly very convenient for a long time.
Yeah. I don't know. I finally hooked up. I brought my my standalone Blu-ray player upstairs from downstairs, because it, like, the only thing my kids watch anyways is like streaming, and I can actually watch some of the Blu-rays that I have that way. But I just like finally hooked it up with my surround sound up here in the attic.
Do I have a Nintendo Power VHS tapes? I sure do. I've got the Star Fox one, which is my favorite by far. Diddy Kong Racing, Banjo-Kazooie. I can't remember. I don't think the Banjo-Kazooie one had like any skits or anything. I want to say the Diddy Kong Racing, if I remember, was done like the form of like a newscast or something. And it wasn't that good. Everything was a disappointment after the Star Fox video. It was just too good.
I was watching actually the Donkey Kong Country one last night, because when I got this DVD recorder, I think I told you about it I
don't think you told me.
Well, I told you about how, like, since I have three capture cards in my system,
you can watch something on like three CRTs at once.
Yeah, 3 CRTs. I could stream all 3 at the same time too, because I like hooked up that DVD recorder just to go on HDMI into my Black Magic. That's what we should do sometime. Like, I know we did it like a long time ago, like when we first did like the How to Beat Volume 1, like we streamed it, but like that was like when we first started on Twitch, and like nobody watched.
Yeah.
But we should do that some night for like a stream. Instead of like playing a game, we should like watch some old game
tapes.
Game VHS, like some gameplay or game tapes and stuff like that we have around.
I've also got I forget what it's called. I'm looking at it, but it's too far away to or it's not right at the right angle where I can see it. But it's some sort of sports tape. It's like sports games on N64. I don't think I've ever watched it.
I just got that N64 tape, and I don't know what's on it. A friend had in his like shed.
I think there might be another. There's a Banjo. I don't know what. I don't think the Banjo-Kazooie one. It may have just been gameplay. I forget. I remember watching the hype reel at the end of the Star Fox 64 video so many times, because it had all this video footage of upcoming games, and it was hard to come by video footage of upcoming games. Like, that just didn't really hardly exist at the time,
Right.
So like there was just a little bit of Zelda 64, and none of it is in the final game. Actually, no, Volvagi is in it. And it's like really weird too, because like it's like the opening of the Volvagia fight, and it's sped up considerably. So it looks like, so when I actually saw it in the game, it was like way slower. But it also had like Mischief Makers in it. I was like, whoa, a 2D game, like what a novelty.
Yeah. That uses the D-pad. But you didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, I did not know.
See, the thing with this is that it looks like complete chaos. It is complete chaos. But if you don't know what's going on, it just like looks like how does anybody even play this?
Yeah.
And I know, like, and that's going to actually be kind of a challenge to explain it in the video, because there's a lot of like, I mean, it's not super tough. I'm just like, I don't know, like it. That's why I'm not like explaining what's kind of going on right now. It's like I need to save something for the video, I guess, too.
Is there a way to play PAL SNES games on NTSC TVs or system? I think
Well,
that's you might know more about than I do.
We were just I was going to get it in my system, but then it ended up not happening. Like, it just didn't work out. There's a new modification called the Super CIC that is like it's like a chip that goes in, and you can it'll play PAL games in NTSC and vice versa.
Will it actually speed them up?
Yeah, I mean, it should, like, theoretically, like, just it'll make them run at the correct speed. Yes.
Like the correct speed for the PAL version or the correct speed for NTSC?
For the NTSC.
We actually were just informed that we are being shipped a package that includes a PAL SNES and some PAL games. So I'll actually be my first opportunity to play PAL, like real PAL, firsthand.
A PAL Super NES?
Yeah.
For what?
For what? Well, the initial thing was for Super Game Boy.
Oh, right.
Like, I would like to do like a head-to-head of Super Game Boy 2, and PAL Super Game Boy, just to see. But while I was being loaned to, I said, hey, could you throw in some PAL region games too? So I could just record like some general footage so that we can have like PAL stuff. Like, just for our archives, you know, because like we have to reference PAL all the time, but we've got nothing to show for it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Did we hear about new U.S. TVs that have SCART input? What?
Yeah, I didn't realize that's a thing. Alright, this is the second and last level. Like, a playthrough of this is about 25 minutes.
I think people get confused sometimes. Like there was a comment saying, oh man, Vizio must love retro gaming because my TV has an RGB input, and I'm like,
oh, right, and it's just a VGA input.
It's a VGA. It's confusing, but.
And it says RGB. I mean, because it is.
Yeah, but it's
not...
free.
It's pretty much to hook your PC in.
Right. I'm actually I've been meaning to test that with Dreamcast because I'm thinking about
Okay, so when you see this coming up here, you're gonna see like these battleships like falling from the sky. This level has some great music, some great butt rock on this level. I think there's like when I mentioned butt rock in my my Time Crisis episode, it's like, oh, someone like knows what butt rock is.
What would you say is the official definition of butt rock?
It's just like I think the term butt rock comes from is like very like kind of 80s kind of like hair metal, where it's all about like, you know, like wearing.
It's just like I mean, my impression of it is that it means it's just rock without any like anything that separates it from any other rock.
No, this is like, it's very much like a like very like guitar, just like, I don't know, I just like wailing guitars, like very
You just have to know.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. If I was like more like, I know it when I hear it.
Mm.
But it is like it's very steeped in like 80s hair metal because there's like, like so many like 80s hair band music videos were about like close-ups and tight jeans and the butts.
So that's where the butt comes from.
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, my as an uninformed person of pop culture musics, my impression was that it was like rock that comes out of your butt. It's like rock. It's like rock that you didn't really put any thought into.
No, that's not. That's definitely. I mean, I guess
It's
it
like
could be
pooping out some
interpreted as
rock.
like. No. No, it's just like. Wailing guitars, it sounds like they're playing out of their ass. Maybe in a way, yeah. But it is like it's very like wailing guitars, like. But I always thought it was like steeped in like 80s. Maybe I'm wrong. But I know what it sounds like.
You know what it sounds like.
Yeah. Can you look it up?
I think I have looked it up.
I think you need to clear it up so that I know for the future.
Oh, have you seen this thing? How when you go to Wikipedia, like they have like the main picture of the thing when you start to search.
No.
It's kind of cool. There's a thing. There's the first thing that comes up is called Butt Rockin' with a IN apostrophe. It says Butt Rockin' is the third studio album by Texas-based blues rock band The Fabulous Thunderbirds, released in 1981. Is this the origin of butt rock?
No, it can't be. Like, I think butt rock is like very much making fun of like a lot of grunge bands made fun of like 80s music. Like probably making fun of like people like David Lee Roth, like singer, like I think
the page butt rock redirects to a page called glam metal.
Okay, then that's 80s. Then if that's true, then I'm right. Glam metal is butt rock. That's hair metal.
Yeah, but there's no actual butt rock on that page.
Right. Butt rock is Dokken, Warrant, and Winger. Yes, very, very much so. Man, Dokken, when I was like a kid, Dokken was like my favorite band. And they did the theme song for Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the Dream Warriors.
Now when you search butt rock on Google, it brings up this thing that says the first thing says a derogatory term for any hard rock music. The term comes from a nationwide advertising campaign on hard rock radio stations in the 1990s that used the tagline "Rock, nothing but rock." Listeners quickly changed that to "Nothing but rock." Let's check out our good friend Urban Dictionary.
Okay.
Butt rock, top definition. A popular term referring to a subgenre of hard rock strongly influenced by post-grunge and new metal. That's new NU metal.
Right. That's like Limp Bizkit.
Originating in the mid to late 90s, butt rock is comprised of raspy vocals similar to Pearl Jam, Creed, or Nirvana, backed with a radio-friendly.
I don't know. I don't think that's right.
Beats,
butt rock is not like Pearl Jam is not butt rock.
Generally found on CBS-owned radio stations across the Midwest, Great Plains, and Southwest, butt rock is overly commercialized, processed music that lacks innovation and creativity. Butt rock predominantly targets a demographic of blue-collar workers, generally men 18 to 45, that drink cheap white beer. have a fascination with big trucks, avidly watch Monday Night Football, and are wannabe UFC fighters. Women that listen to butt rock are usually huge fans of Guns N' Roses and are drawn to the subgenre by the subconscious influence of corporate agenda or out of sympathy for their significant other's terrible local band. Okay. Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
Oh, well, Tweeter says this is an awful definition, so he's on your side here. I believe Tweeter is subscribing to the Coury definition. Is that correct?
Yeah. All right, let's see. I'm gonna be Shion.
Whenever I hear the name Shion, I always think of Xenosaga, so it's weird to me that Wonder Boy and Monster World's protagonist is named.
No, but I always think that's what I always think of as when.
I mean, you haven't even played Xenosaga.
I have them.
Oh, okay.
I played a portion of the first one. I think I tried to play it several times, and it just didn't work out previously. But it's something I've tried several times. Like I played to that part where when Cosmos like first takes on the Gnosis, when she first like comes to life, and she like kicks all kinds of butt in the cutscenes, and then she's like can die really easily once you get into the actual game. Or not die really easily, but she's certainly not as invincible as she was just like in the cutscene previously. But the music on that part is really cool.
I want to replay those games.
That might be worth like doing like a whole episode on like that series, and like maybe like this is something you'd have to work on over the course of like.
Yeah, I mean they aren't that long though. They're like 30-hour RPGs.
Oh really?
Yeah. Oh, they aren't unreasonable at all.
Daijin. I'll probably do one more playthrough. I can't believe it's almost 11 already. So is anybody in the chat like going and buying this game right now? Look it up on Amazon right now to see how much it is. It was like $11.
You're probably bumping up the price as we speak. It's probably sold out. How do you spell it?
AKIA. AKAI. Akai.
AKAI Katana.
Yeah.
It's $14.30.
Oh, so it's gone up a teeny little bit.
Well, it's probably just because it switched vendors.
Right. I mean, I paid like $8 for mine.
When I searched for that, also the next thing on the list that came up was Otomedius Excellent.
Oh yeah, and that's like $6.
Cave? Yeah, it's $7.
No, that's Konami. That's I almost bought that today, but then I read some reviews, and apparently, like more than half the game is DLC.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's not included.
No.
And then the third thing down is Death Smiles, which is $30.
Right. I have that one. I was gonna play that tonight, but I'm not.
The Japanese import of Akai Katana is $61.
Wow, I wonder why.
Well, Beautiful Joe in the chat here is telling us that Otomedius is pretty bad. Apparently not living up to its name of excellent.
No. A lot of people, I think, were expecting it to be, since it's Konami, we're expecting it to be a, like Parodius. Like a new Parodius game, essentially.
So is it supposed to be like making fun of like cave shooters or something?
I don't even think it's a bullet hell. I don't know. I think it's more just like kind of a Gradius type.
We have a vote here for putting an audio version of the live streams onto iTunes.
Oh, okay. That's cool that somebody was talking about that. I mentioned it on Twitter earlier.
Well, that's what he was referring to.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's going to be a lot of things in there that are based on like what you'd see, I guess. When you just like held up the OSSC, it's kind of like, oh, I got this right here.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really like takes like no effort on my part to like set that up. I mean, all I have to do is I just extract, like download the video. I can do audio only with VidKeeper or what is it, the thing I use for it. I mean, and just like balance the audio.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of general conversation on it, so it's kind of whatever.
Yeah, I mean, what I already downloaded, I downloaded and did it with the ones that we've had people on with us. Like that made the most sense. But yeah, I mean, if people want something like that, like I could see it being like something that people might like. Oh shoot! Why am I at to the third stage?
Just your background noise or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the streams, like, it depends. Like, I mean, we had 100 people watching last week, which was just crazy to me.
That was unbelievable. I think, I mean, we've gotten the 70s right now, which is kind of our usual peak in recent weeks, but...
I think it just depends on what the subject is. Like, it's going to be different.
Well, someone a while back said that it didn't show up in their notifications, so I don't know if that might have been a common thing or if it was just them, but it's still, this is about what we normally expect. I don't know. It must have been Classic Gaming Quarterly bringing in the big numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible because, I mean, he has 10,000 subs, so I guess it would make sense. Oh, shoot. But, I mean, it varies from week to week. I like to think that we stream things that, like, probably most people on YouTube gaming are not streaming, and probably even Twitch for that matter.
Well, I mean,
in the US, in English at least.
Yeah, I'm sure this gets some pretty big stream time though. Cave shooters are like a big deal with a lot of people.
Right. I think it depends.
But too, I mean, I think the reason our stream would work in an iTunes context, if that's what people wanted to watch or listen to, is because we do just kind of a lot of conversation, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it is about. It's like a lot of interaction. It's like Q&A, and like it very much is just hanging out and talking. Like the games are pretty much like secondary. Like they're a conversation piece to an extent,
right?
Kind of give us something to talk about if we don't have anything else. But yeah, so I'll do that. I can set it up tomorrow.
Can you keep track of how many people download, etc.?
Probably. Yeah,
just be interesting to know.
Yeah. I still have all those old backlog rate game clubs streams. Yeah, I should send them to you sometime.
Streams?
Not streams. I'm sorry. The podcasts.
Okay.
That was kind of like one of the first things that led to,
In a way, yeah. Like, what was the very, like, I mean, to explain, like, we did like a community, or Coury did a community podcast years ago, like basically like a book club.
Yeah.
And we
pick
would
a game and record
we would
it.
pick like a game for people on the backloggery to play that month, and then at the end of the month we would record a podcast just about like our thoughts on that game. Got like a group of like 4 people together.
Yeah, 3 or 4 usually. Yeah.
Was the first one Metal Gear Solid 2? Or was that?
I think it might have been Metal Gear Solid 2, yeah.
Yeah, the ones that I participated in were Metal Gear Solid 2 and Ys Origin.
Yes. Ys Origin, we recorded that at our first MagFest.
Yep. You just like used like this port, like this adapter in your phone.
I know. Well, that's like, yeah, I use it like, I record on my iPad actually.
Oh, okay.
It was like it could have been done on my phone. I don't know if that's something anybody would be interested in. I could probably post a link to all of them at some point. I mean, I still have them like all in my Dropbox. What did we do? We did Ys Origin, we did Metal Gear Solid 2, we did Mark of the Ninja.
Okay, see, I still haven't even played that, so I definitely wasn't involved in that. Like, it was really like, I mean, there was...
Okami, I think, was one.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, it was like just a variety of stuff, like not necessarily anything recent or... it was just kind of just whatever.
Yeah. A long time ago.
Getting to be, yeah.
Man, I'm just getting crushed here. That's after 11. I guess. Let me just beat this
Oh,
level.
wow, it is. So, are you doing anything different on this playthrough? I didn't.
I'm not playing the slash mode. Slash mode is it's not like the arcade version. If you notice here, if I fire in this, I can bounce bullets off of me when I'm in this form. I couldn't do that before. They're pretty significantly different, gameplay-wise. I like slash mode a lot more. It's a lot of gameplay for $8 or $15 or whatever it is now. There's a lot of stuff here. This was actually recommended to me by the same guy who recommended Heavenly Guardian to me.
Really?
Yes. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's so hard with like hidden gems. Like, a lot of people, like they got to hear about them from someplace, or not hear about them like so much as like, I don't know. Like unless they're buying them like the day they come out, and they got to hear about them from someplace. And he's been right both times. They've both been games that I really liked. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
What?
Mellow Gaming says, heard the rumor that Treasure may be done as developers. Apparently they may become a license holding company. That sounds weird. But I mean, they
What does
haven't
that
done...
mean?
I don't even know. I really don't even know what that
They've been
means.
doing mobile games, I think. Or no,
Real.
they've done something on.
They did something on 3DS that was
Right.
like, I want to say it was a license thing, but I'm not. Or no, I don't think it was a license thing. But they were kind of trying to build it up as like a sort of a multimedia thing. Like I think there might have been anime and like some merchandising or something. I forget what it was called.
Oh, really? Well, it's interesting because I was just reading when I was reading Game Fan, there was an interview in there with Masato Maegawa talking about Gunstar Heroes. Because Gunstar Heroes had just come out, and he's like, oh, you know, like saying, like, we made this game because Konami wouldn't let us make any games that weren't sequels.
Ah.
You know, it's interesting, though. The more things change, the more things stay the same, really.
That's crazy. And then Konami wouldn't let anyone make any sequels that weren't Metal Gear.
Yep.
Then Konami wouldn't let anyone make any video games.
Yep.
How sad.
That's kind of a bummer, though. I mean, considering Treasure's history, you know?
Yeah, that would sound so backwards, like the antithesis of what they stand for. But, I mean, who knows? Oh, selling their licenses to other studios. That's so weird. Like people don't play Treasure games for the license. They play Treasure games because it's freaking Treasure.
Right.
Like,
what's interesting about that interview, really quick before you, like, what's interesting about that interview is that kind of explains why Treasure didn't do sequels for the longest time.
right. Like I've said before that I think of Way Forward as like the Western Treasure. Like, and I could see
as the
doing,
Western, yes.
I could see them doing good things with some of their properties, but like, I mean, Treasure games just have this very distinctive degree of absurdity. Though they aren't the only ones. I mean, you know, I've played a lot of Konami games that I thought were pre-Treasure because they felt so Treasure-like. But then I found out later that they were actually after people had left for Treasure. So it's not like they're the only people capable of making nutty games like that.
Yeah, for the longest time. I guess a lot of the stuff that they do now is like, I mean, you get a lot of that from the indie scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I thought when I first played Rocket Knight Adventures, I thought it was the same people that left to become Treasure, and it was several years after that.
Right.
And then the guy who directed that game, I think, just stayed at Konami and directed a lot of stuff. I think he may have even done Shattered Soldier, maybe. So he was there for a while. So, I mean, he had nothing to do with Treasure, but Rocket Knight feels like a Treasure game to me.
Right.
But it's not. So, you know.
The last major game that they did was probably Sin and Punishment 2.
I think so, yeah. And I mean, you know, maybe because it didn't sell well, maybe they had some trouble, but what a game. What a game.
That was funded by Nintendo, though, I think.
Oh, obviously, but still, even if it was funded by them, it was. But you know, that could have caused trouble for them. I don't know.
I guess thinking about it, it's kind of true. You know, if only Treasure had the scale available to them that Platinum does. I mean, Platinum is very much.
Platinum is like the 3D Treasure.
Yes. They're keeping that traditional action game alive in the 3D space, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that. And, you know, I love, you know, developers like Treasure and Platinum and Way Forward. They're just not afraid to do stupid things in the name of being awesome, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess from what we've seen on the stream tonight, Cave cave is that way too. They will, throw battleships out of portals at you.
Yeah, whatever they feel like doing.
I love that kind of crap.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat says they're a cave PCB collector. That's what they're pretty expensive as far as I know. They have like exclusive modes in them that they have only available in the PCB.
And will those work on a super gun?
Yes.
Wow.
I think Artemio has had several cave PCBs. Like he kind of like showed me all the stuff that he has. Oh, we met at G Anime.
Yeah, he was one of the retro gaming CA guys.
Oh, that's right.
You can always recognize them because they've got that little. I don't know if I'm right.
Oh, the little person.
The little Atari guy.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. I didn't know. Yeah, I mean, I think this super gun thing is going to happen. Depending, I'd love to do like a video on it.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely should do it just because it's like cheaper than the Neo Geo, and that blows like that whole concept. That whole concept is just going to blow people's minds because I guarantee you, so many people. I mean, I didn't know until you started talking about. I didn't know that was a thing you could do. Like when I think of playing arcade games at home, I'm thinking you have the whole dang cabinet.
No, right? Yeah,
like that's going to blow so many people's minds that is even a thing you can do.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I think that like there's a lot of people. I mean, the scene is very big for that kind of thing.
But it's really cool.
I mean, I kind of want to do a comparison between like a super gun, just just going like through the Framemeister or whatever, and also into my PVM, but like that versus like a Raspberry Pi with with MAME on it, and then just a regular PC with MAME on it, but using that the Ultimark Arcade VGA where you can get 240p out of it. This is a little ways down the road. I think I was just kind of explaining that since my like situation is going to be kind of weird here for a few days or for like a little while, I'm kind of
forever.
Well, no, it's hard to say. But I'm going to be doing more like tips and tweaks episodes, I think, for a little bit, just in case I can't get as much game time as I need. What are we doing in terms of tips and tweaks, or should we not? We don't want to put it out there.
I mean, maybe we'll talk about it later, but that's not yet.
Okay. You got a few.
Got a few ideas.
Yeah.
I want to do one. I wanted to do it sooner than later, but I'm probably going to wait a little bit. Planning to do one on Game Boy display and storage.
Yeah.
So.
And you're working with our old friend Game Dave on that one.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be fun.
Dave, who has almost joined us for the stream tonight.
Though I don't think he has any experience with the genre, does he? Doesn't strike me as a Game Dave genre. But I could be wrong.
Oh, LA Machine Guns. LA Machine Guns is really great. That'd be a good hidden gem. Maybe I'll do that in hidden gems sometime.
Oh, wasn't that one of the games that you mentioned in the Time Crisis episode?
Right, which would be like, I don't want to do it. I thought of doing it for hidden gems at some point. But,
is there a home version?
Yeah, it's on the Wii.
Oh, okay.
It has 2 games on it. It has LA Machine Guns and Gunblade New York.
I love those titles.
Yeah. The arcade game like had this huge like machine gun.
Wow.
I mean, it looked like something was like in like Aliens or something.
Well, we consider doing our personal XRGB settings in our videos. Another 300 level video that we should just go ahead and get out. Do a Google search for Pixel Purist, and you'll be set up. As long as your FrameMeister is up to date and can load save profiles. You can get most of the profiles that you could ever want from there, and they are awesome. I should make that video a higher priority because we should just get that out there.
Yeah, I agree. And also another channel called Implant Games has a short little video series about kind of like putting together profiles, like his own profiles. He kind of explains like what he puts all of his settings as and stuff. We'll kind of go into that, but we want to go through each of the Pixel Purist is very we've worked with him a lot.
Like I even sent him my PSP because I wanted PSP profiles. So
yeah. Now, like I mean, I can't send him my Neo Geo. To get the
no.
I did find somebody that had a 4X TurboGrafx 16 that was on the Shmups forum, and I'm using that currently for PC Engine. And what else in terms of RGB is the SCART switcher, which we already said, FrameMeister settings, geometry. Yeah,
it's a big one. You're in talks with the expert,
with a geometry person. The geometry one's going to be interesting because the thing with that is that it's going to be different for every single TV or monitor. It's going to be like there's not going to be one setting that's just going to fix everything because it all has to do with, this is all stuff that I didn't know that I'm talking with a guy that is a retired service person, like to repair like PVMs and stuff like that for like different post house and stuff. And he's retired and he just like does it like in his free time. Now he's like 77 years old. And he's, it all has to do with like capacitors and all this other stuff that is going to change from every single TV and monitor because like the capacitors age it, like some will be really bad, some won't be bad. And essentially like the service menu is to compensate for it. Yeah, to compensate for it. And that's just kind of what it comes down to for that stuff. So the best that I can do for that is to go through each setting and say, okay, so this is what this is. This is what this setting means. This is what this does. And it's going to be up to like, for everybody to kind of figure it out what looks best on their TV. There's just, unfortunately, like no like real catch-all for it.
I see Austin asked a bit back. Are you a fan of Alundra? That's definitely a hidden gem in my opinion. You put the wrong name on the front end of that. Let me tell you what. Alundra might be my least favorite game that I have put the effort into going from start to finish.
And this is like, I gifted it to him, too.
You gifted it to me. I do not like Alundra.
But, you thought, like, oh, this has got to be good because I gifted you the first Wild Arms before, which you loved.
I was like, man, this Coury guy's got some great tastes, and,
Yeah, this is before, like, we really knew each other.
Yeah, just backloggery friends. But, yeah. Alundra... don't like it. It's so like I feel like the whole game is like they're like, okay, here's the controls, here's the perspective. Now, how can we design the levels to be the most difficult possible with this control scheme and this perspective? Like, what would be the most not fun thing to have to do here? Okay, well, let's jump on all of these columns using this control scheme that doesn't work at all.
A lot of people really dislike the second one, though, so maybe you'd like that one.
Maybe. I mean, I think don't people dislike it because it doesn't stay true to the original?
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with the original.
I mean, that sounds like an improvement. I mean, I did like the music. It's got good music. The guy who did the music in Alundra did the music in Gravity Rush, which is one of my favorite soundtracks of recent years.
Did you like the music in Alundra, at least?
Well, yeah. I mean, I liked it. I liked the music. And of course, Working Designs had some of their special touches to the script. Like there was this part where this townsperson dies, and the mayor goes, why this, why that, why? And then at the end, he says, why don't we have cable TV? Oh, wait. I'm like, this guy just died. This isn't like the right point for it's interesting. It's a very sad game. Like a lot of people die in it.
Yeah. There's a backloggery question. No, first there was a 3DS micro console for the NX. I don't even know. Like I saw that stupid looking supposed leak for the NX controller.
Oh yeah,
I guess they can't be real, right?
No, it's not.
But maybe it is. I don't know. Like I'm just like I'm to the point where I'm just like not even thinking so much about like future consoles and stuff.
Because you're just so busy with.
Yeah, I mean I can barely keep up with.
Yeah.
Well, not even that. Just like even, like I'm. If there's anybody who's like into RPGs in this into Japanese RPGs in this chat, and they are not playing or have not played Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel, it's amazing, and you should definitely play it. I put a whole bunch of time into that like these last few days. I'm like 30 hours in now.
Finally, this past week beat Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I really enjoyed as well.
What was your final time on that?
One thing was like 76 hours.
Wow.
So pretty substantial.
Yeah.
Pretty substantial. I mean, the worst thing about the game would be the structure of it. I mean, it very much plays like an MMO kind of. And there's like a lot of you have to do like some side stuff, and there's a lot of prerequisites before you can take on the next story mission. And the story is not like, Takahashi, the Xeno guy, he said that, they weren't really focused on story for this one. They were like trying to build like, the world and stuff. And it paid off so much. I mean, the gameplay is awesome. The world is awesome. Story and story structure, maybe not so much. My only complaint about the gameplay really is that I didn't think mech-based, they call them skells. Mm-hmm. The skell combat was not nearly as much fun as on foot combat, but great game. I had a lot of fun playing it.
Austin has Trails of Cold Steel, so it's really, really good. It's kind of like I played the first Trails in the Sky. I had the second one, but I didn't get the second one until it was on sale last week. But Trails of Cold Steel is very much a kind of a traditional RPG, but it has a lot of Persona elements in it. in terms of like being at a school and you get to like spend time with certain people. You have a certain amount of points you can spend with each person during free days and stuff like that to, you know, increase your link with them. So it's pretty cool. What was the backlog rate question? I saw it pop up.
Oh, something about will we be adding a bulk add option or a way to like import stuff? I don't know. To be honest, I've forgotten a lot of the ideas that are on the table. So the person to ask that really is Drumble. He's the one that has it all kind of in his head.
And he's on Twitter at Mr. Drumble.
At Mr. Drumble.
Yeah.
Trails of Cold Steel is on PS3 and Vita.
Yeah. And it has cross saves, so I've thought about getting the Vita version as well, just to like kind of have it, because I like it so much.
I mean, you're definitely kind of talking me into getting it. I'll try to grab it sometime.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be seeing with the GameCube episode like any day.
Any day. I
mean, it's done.
It's basically done. It's just plugging in a few things.
Yeah.
Trust us. It will be available the second it is possible for us to release it.
Right. And as I said before, you know, like as we kind of get to this point with the series now, with like it's getting like known well enough, and like we're getting kind of like exclusive early looks at things, you know, it gets difficult to, you know, we have to wait on things because we don't want the episodes to be outdated like immediately. Right. But I mean, that's just, we're doing what we can. The GameCube episode is going to be 12 hours long. You know, well, it's like 28 minutes or so, right?
It's the longest RGB episode. So it's not the longest episode on the channel, but it is the longest RGB episode.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like they just keep on getting longer, even when we don't think they're going to get longer.
Mostly play PS1 and PS2 games. Is a Framemeister worth it? For PS1, I think so, but for PS2, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be just as happy playing PS1 on a PS3.
Yeah. Trails in the Sky is amazing. I'm excited to play the second one. I probably should have played the second one before I played this one, but this one has some references to that, but not a lot. I feel because I played the first Trails in the Sky that I'm in an okay position.
Yeah, I don't know what which I'll play first. I mean, I've played the first Trails as well.
Right.
I didn't like the gameplay that much in it, but like
it's a lot better now.
But I mean, I assume that the gameplay in Trails SC is probably very similar to the first game. I don't know.
But I think it's going to be very similar to the first game, but it's going to be a lot more fleshed out.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine, but like I just kind of lost interest in the battle system, and like it kind of works in such a way where if you die in a battle, then it continues to get easier every time you retry.
Right.
So
you can choose to do that in this. You can make the enemies weaker and continue or not.
Like I was just like so uninvested in the gameplay.
Yeah.
That like the last battle I probably died on like 8 times, and then, you know, I was just like, it doesn't even matter. I'm just going to keep fighting until I eventually beat him because he's so easy. But like the reason I played through the Trails one was I mean, you know, it had great characters, it had great story, it had great music. You know, I was in it for everything but the gameplay, but I do wish the gameplay were better. But it sounds like Cold Steel would have more to hook me in the gameplay sense.
Yes. I think you'd really like it. It seems like something that you could get really into.
Whew, okay, well,
Hopefully we'll see you in a couple of days with GameCube.
we'll see. We'll see. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. And
And as soon as we do the when we're streaming for the GameCube episode, we kind of have a cool like person joining us. Should be a lot of fun. Like a special guest on stream.
works for a game company.
Yep. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
All right, that's gonna do it.
All right.
We will.
Good night, everyone.
Yep, we'll see you next week. Have a good night.